the secret areas of World of Warcraft. Newman's Landing is a small area on the west coast of Dunmorrow. At the building there's brew, grain and a pile of bones, and a sign on the dock reads Newman's Landing. A table, some lanterns and a sunken boat is in the water below. Newman's Landing has no mobs or monsters, no trade skill NPCs or containers, and as of now it's been World of Warcraft, it's little more than a sightseeing landmark. You can position yourself at a point close to Coldridge Valley, but cannot access it from Newman's Landing without a flying mount. To reach Newman's Landing, however, you must swim north from Westfall or Stormwind Harbour or south from Wetlands. You can also gain access to it via the mountains of Dunmorrow. Unless you want to swim, a flying mount is pretty much mandatory. As mentioned in one of my earlier videos on my channel, Karazhan Crypts is a creepy burial ground underneath the Tower of Karazhan in Deadwind Pass. There is little purpose to the crypt and not much is known regarding its viability to the game or why it can't be accessed. Some say it's a playground of sorts for developers or some sort of testing site, but the most popular theory is that it's an unfinished instance that was too violent and creepy to make its way into the game as an accessible dungeon or raid. The wiki states that using WoW Map Viewer, you can see the crypts run under the Tranquil Gardens Cemetery in Dustwood. This could be a coincidence or play some sort of role in the future, as the two conjoining would be interesting. The crypt is inaccessible, and the only way to get into the crypt on live servers is by using a combination of glitching and macros, which I won't go further into. Old Gilneas. Before Cataclysm, many areas had already been prepared in the patches leading up to the expansion. For instance, in 3.3.5 in Wrath, there were already places closed off that would soon be landmarks or instances. One of these is Old Gilneas. There is a huge gate with a zone behind it being labelled Gilneas. At this point there wasn't any map markings for the new zone, and it couldn't be selected or clicked on as it wasn't fully implemented. To my knowledge, I don't think you can access this zone on live servers due to Gilneas being completed. Somewhere in the eastern Plaguelands there's a blank plane of land which is still being left in the game to this day. I'm not aware if this is land that is being planned on being used in the future, but it can't be selected on the map for some reason, although it's still there. When exploring, if you're high up enough or far enough across the far plane, you might glitch into an uninstanced version of Stratholme, which you can basically run through, but there aren't any mobs there. Due to this, most people just label the landmass as being Stratholme land, and the fact that it is huge in most instances take up a lot of space, whilst others have theories about it being Northuron. However, this theory has been debunked, as Northuron ceased to exist and became part of Twilight Highlands. Maybe they'll use it in the future, or maybe it's just land used for Stratholme. Unless someone asks the devs, I guess we'll never know. The GM Island Prison. Due to me mentioning this, I'll explain GM Island first of all, with the prison together. GM Island is a strange place designed to serve as a hangout for Blizzard's game masters. It is located far northwest of Teldrassil, surrounded by unmapped space between itself and the main continent. This makes it completely impossible to reach without some form of exploit. GMs don't discuss the area, as it's mainly a place for GMs to log in, log out, and be able to teleport to certain areas in the game. Strangely, GM Island is also mentioned in the lore. As it quotes on the wiki, the gnome Ari and the troll Tuskfire are two inhabitants of GM Island and do their best to make sure of Azeroth's technical problems are resolved. However, they are not seen anywhere in game. The GM Island prison is located under the island and is a blank white tiled room with nothing but a chair in its centre. Although players can enter, they are unable to leave unless teleported out by a GM. The walls are designed in order to prevent players jumping up them, and for some reason the room has only been seen by a few GMs, and most of them don't even know why it's there. Old Grim Batol is a zone that was designed before the Cataclysm expansion and the involvement of the Twilight Hammer clan with Deathwing. This zone looks near enough exactly the same as the Cataclysm counterpart, whilst the mobs located around the zone are dragonkin of sorts or other rodents. The structure looked the same but couldn't be entered, and after the Cataclysm of course it became an instance dungeon whilst levelling. When players take a trip on the Deeprun Tram, like myself, they usually wonder, wouldn't it be great to swim in the tank like the divers and see if there's anything strange in there? Well, there's a combination of divers, Naga, and if you're lucky enough you might see Nessie the sea monster. The only way to enter is via exploiting, and I've never really seen anyone who's entered this area in a live server. Old Outland, or Outland's testing area, is a zone located next to Ironclad Cove in the Deadmines. The area cannot be accessed unless you have an elixir of giant growth on the pipe in the start of Deadmines. It's named the way it is due to its resemblance to Outlands, and the area is very small and is surrounded by a bunch of trees that mirror those from Nagrand. There's a lot of bright particles that surround the zone, however it's easy to run away from and see that the surrounding area is just a big blank mass of land, and the zone in the background or instance seems to be Deadmines itself. Thanks for watching the video. Please do leave a comment and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you want me to create more content like this in the future, give me any ideas in the comments, and for future videos if you wish to do so. And as always, please subscribe for regular content notifications when I upload.